I'm going to wait for a couple people to join on before I start going over some of the results from week 3 here. Just got back from vacation, so I'm doing this a little bit later than normal. I was sifting through about 50 some emails today and yesterday, so I'm going to start going over everything here in a couple more minutes. Hey, Delisa. Hey, Jonathan. Hey, Jennifer. If you guys can hear me, just mark. Oh, Jonathan just answered my question. So, how's everything going so far, Jonathan, with the challenge? Hey, Delisa. How's everything going with the challenge so far? Do you have any questions before I get started? Yeah, Jonathan, I think you are doing well. I remember seeing your check-ins and stuff like that. I don't want to, obviously discuss people's weight and stuff like that, but yeah, you seem to be doing pretty well in the check-ins. So, well, I'm going to get started here. I'm going to start reviewing some of the numbers. We're going to discuss what the honeymoon phase is to weight loss. And this is all very common. It typically happens in all our challenges for the first 2 to 3 weeks. And then I'll sort of explain what sort of goes on from there and sort of what you should expect moving forward. So last week, 48% of people lost less than 1 pound, and I'm going to explain why. But the other 52% lost 1 or more pounds of the challenge. So this is where I want to talk about before I move forward on any of the questions is this is called the honeymoon of weight loss, okay? The first couple of weeks when we start a challenge, or even if I enroll a new personal training client or we get some new members at the gym, they get super excited the first couple of weeks because what they do, honestly, they go from extremely, extremely bad habits and change just 1 or 2 variables. And those 1 or 2 variables will lead to instant success in the first couple of weeks. And sometimes it can last up to a handful of weeks. But that's why people in our first 2 weeks of the challenge, we adjusted their caloric intake. We had them start eating leaner proteins. And then obviously, eating vegetables was week 3's challenge. Basically, in that first 1 to 3 weeks, people start to just make better choices in general. And they start eating foods that are less in sodium. So instantly they start seeing a change on the scale. It's exciting. I encourage it because it is exciting. Some people struggle to lose any type of weight in the first couple of weeks. But basically that was water weight. So that's why in the first couple of weeks I've seen people lose 15 pounds in 3 weeks. It's not uncommon. But basically these people were going from very unhealthy eating habits, high sodium, not tracking any calories or anything like that. But when they start up with our programs, they start to make just a few minor changes and they see instant results. Then after that, let's say week 4 rolls around and boom, they jump on the scale and they lose only 0.75 pounds or 3/4 of a pound, whatever you want to call it. And they get frustrated. And I was getting bombarded with emails this last week and notifications. People were like, I've hit a plateau. I've really stuck to the program. I only lost, a half pound this last week. So to be honest with you, those first 3 weeks, if you lost more than 6 pounds, a lot of that wasn't actual body weight. A lot of that was carbohydrates that was stored in the muscle, because typically I promote a moderate to lower carbohydrate diet in all our challenges. We do that with all our personal training. So instantly you started losing water weight from that. You start making healthier food choices. Let's say if you increased your vegetable intake, it could cause more regular bowel movements, so you're starting to lose weight from that. And then eating more vegetables is going to typically be higher in potassium. It's going to remove sodium out of your body. So basically, you lost a lot of water weight and you lost a lot of carbohydrate weight in the first couple of weeks. Now, the weight loss starts to taper off, unless you're being super aggressive with your movement and exercise or with your nutrition, like eating 500, under 1,000 calories a day, you're not going to see 3 and 4 pounds every single week moving forward, okay? What you're going to see now moving forward is more of the traditional weight loss that people don't like to see. But the traditional weight loss that you're going to see in weeks 3, 4, 5, and moving on, that's actually going to be body mass that you're losing. That's going to be actual fat mass that's going to be decreasing on your body. And you're going to start noticing changes more in your pants, how you feel, how your clothes feel in general. And that's going to be actual body weight coming off. And it's not going to be so much water weight. So the honeymoon phase is now over if you are sticking to the program pretty well. But if you were eating pretty healthy to begin with and you're looking to lose only like a handful of pounds and you're only losing like 0.25, then you jump on the scale, it might be 0.5, you're actually losing actual body weight, okay? You're not fluctuating in your water and things like that. So just wanted to clear that up before we jump into this, because that's what a lot of the questions I got this week was, I've hit a plateau, what do I need to do? Honestly, you haven't hit a plateau. You're actually seeing good weight loss results, and it's still consistent because you got to quantify this over time. And that's what we preach in our programs is you'll lose 0.5 pounds here, 0.75 pounds, then you might only lose 0.25, but over time in a year period or 12 weeks, as long as this program is, that adds up over time. And that's fitness and nutrition. And that's why people are unsuccessful with weight loss and then also maintaining their weight loss once they hit their goals. So I just wanted to clear all that stuff up. If you have any questions, make sure you just mark them here in the comment section because I'll reply back to them after the video is over. So if there's something you want to ask me now, type it in there and I can still respond to it later. Right now, it looks like, we're doing a smashing job. You know, this is week 3 and about 80%, just under 80% have lost 4 or more pounds during the program. So you got to think you're averaging, over 1.5 pounds per week, that's awesome. So just stick with it. It's a grind. It's just like anything else, any other craft that you do. So just stick with it. The issue is if you have not lost more than 1 pound by week 3, I need you to email me or reach out to me on the app and let me correct some things for you. I also want to point out that if you've lost over 6 or more pounds since the challenge has started, I'd like for you to revisit day 2 of the program, and I want you to redo the formula. If you guys need the link to the formula, let me know and I can send that back out to you, but you should be able to access those lessons previously because basically that formula is now incorrect. That formula is based off body weight. So if you've lost, we have several people over 10 pounds, you need to go back and recorrect that or you are going to hit a plateau based off calorie recommendations. Just wanted to throw that out there. What did you do well this past week? About 50% said they did well staying underneath their caloric intake. Tracking and recording their food intake was at 56. Making healthier food choices is at 64. I love it. Exercising is increasing, which is, I'm loving it. I know you guys were talking on another post that you guys were looking for an accountability group or to start exercising at MedHost specifically. Let me know and I can send out a mass message to everybody that's doing the challenge to see if they would like to opt in. So if you guys would like me to set that up for you to start like a communication thing for you, just comment in the comment section here and I'll post that for you and I will send that out through the app. So I'm going to jump into the questions that I received this week. So since the challenge has started, I've lost 6 pounds, almost consistently 2 pounds per week. Is this pretty average? Yes. Depending on, especially if you did not start off extremely overweight or you needed a ton of weight to lose. So 2 pounds is my ideal. That's what I typically recommend. So if you're under 200 pounds, 2 pounds per week is perfect. If you're above 200 pounds, you can go closer to 3 to 4 pounds. If you're above 250, you can go to like 6 or 8 pounds per week. And that's typically water weight and things like that. If you're under 150 pounds, I do not recommend that you lose more than 1 pound per week. How can I control carb cravings? My recommendation on that is It depends on what type of carbs. You're probably referring to more palatable or better tasting carbohydrates. And I'm guessing you're talking about sugary carbohydrates, and typically they're higher in fat. I recommend going with fruit servings, typically berries and apples, because they have a little bit more sweeter taste. And they're also a little bit lower in sugar and calories based off its volume. So those are very good options. There is no excuse right now with not eating more fruits and vegetables. With spring upon us, we're almost to summertime. Farmer markets are starting to open up. There's no excuse not to increase your fruits and vegetable intake at this time of year. But I'm guessing that's what that person was referring to. This person said, I ate a lot of carbs. I ate lots of high carb foods along with protein and veggies and mostly walking for a half hour every day during the last week. I did see a drop in weight loss. I lost less than 1 pound, which I've already addressed. What changes should I do? Nothing. Honestly, if you're losing anything consistently on a basis, keep doing what you're doing. I just made the recommendation, if you are above 200 pounds, you can be a little more aggressive. You can lose closer to 3 or 4 pounds per week. But if you are consistently losing week to week, don't change anything. Unless, you know, like I just said, if you're just starting off, you need a ton of weight to lose. That person's actually doing a good job. If they're eating more fruits and vegetables, they're losing weight, you know, eating more protein, that's what you do. You got to think of this as a long-term thing. This person says, I feel like I hit a plateau and the needle is not moving towards the directions I need it to go. This is probably the person that did make some minor changes to their eating or exercise programming, and it might have tapered off. This person probably didn't really make a lot of changes, to be honest with you. If they hit a plateau per se, this person still, let me see here, this person still lost a little bit of weight this week. They've already lost 10 pounds. You could go back and redo the formula if you want to. I could resend that back out. 2, be more consistent on your tracking, because I don't believe that you're eating or tracking everything that you actually eat. That's usually the biggest thing that people do. They think that they're tracking everything. They really aren't. They'll miss out on the 5 M&Ms. They'll miss out on Hershey Kisses, extra, you know, servings of fruit and things like that. And that adds up over time. But that's my recommendation for them. Easter made it hard. I agree. It is a little more. Holidays are challenging in general, but holidays don't make us overweight, to be honest with you. What is there, like, I'll be super generous, 10 holidays throughout the year. 10 days out of how many days there is in the year is less than 10%. That's not what's making us overweight. It's consistent habits outside the holidays is what making us overweight. I splurge on the holidays. I enjoy time with my family. I have some extra alcohol. I have extra servings of pie or cake or whatever I may have. But the difference between me is I stop on the holiday. I get right back on track that following day, eating my fruits, vegetables, eating lean proteins. And that's what separates people that are able to maintain weight long-term wise, is just get back on track that next day. And it's really not going to make a big difference. And this person says, getting veggies in is a struggle for me. I think that is for everybody. I mean, that's a very common issue. My recommendation is cauliflower is probably the most diverse vegetable out there. You can make it basically into anything. I'm surprised they haven't made a car out of cauliflower yet. But cauliflower can be turned into rice. It could be turned into mashed potatoes. It can be turned into pizza crusts. The possibilities are sort of endless. My wife and I make stir fry with cauliflower rice all the time. It's an easy food to make. It's super cheap. We just rice up a head of cauliflower. We still put a cup of white rice in there with it. Then we add some green beans, corn, peas, and all that other good stuff, carrots. And you have a pretty robust vegetable serving on your plate. And then we add some lean protein with some seasoning. It's pretty simple. My recommendation to get extra veggies in, think of a dish that you absolutely love. I always use Mexican. As my easiest example, think of it, if you love Mexican, think of your favorite dish, and then go towards that by adding extra veggies like your peppers, your onions, and things like that. Fajitas are my go-to with Mexican. You can keep it relatively low carb. You can add more veggies to that dish very easily. Chicken can be your lean protein. If you want to add a carbohydrate source, you can add the refried beans or a little bit of rice. Pretty simple and pretty cost effective. But that is all the questions I have just on the check-ins this week. Do you guys have any questions for me right now on any fitness? Because I don't get a lot of fitness questions from you guys. I know this is more about healthy eating because, you know, eating habits make a easier impact on our body weight. So I'll leave a couple minutes here if you guys have any questions, concerns. How's the carbohydrate stuff going? I know that's the new one. All good? Are we still there? Oh, I didn't know I had to slide this down. Let's put on a 12-day. Yeah, that could cause water retention. Typically, the hormone is progesterone. So I'd look up in that pack if that's one of the hormones that's in that pack that you're talking about. Progesterone is what manipulates sodium handling inside the female's body, and you guys fluctuate in that. So I would look up to see if there's progesterone in that, ask your doctor. They should be able to answer that pretty easily. That's what actually causes water fluctuation in females in general with your guys' cycling. Oh, we got some more questions coming in. Yes, yard work doesn't consider, it's not considered actual fitness or exercise. That's called informal movement. That's called non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So basically what that is, it's very similar to if you took the stairs instead of an elevator. So yard work and your NEAT activity, which is that non-exercise stuff I was just talking about, that actually plays a bigger role in weight management and weight loss than actually formal exercise. So I encourage people to do yard work, do your laundry when you get home, try not to do Netflix